Привет, comrades! Stealth here. Welcome back to episode 4 of Workers and Resources Soviet Republic, where, as you communist folks have indicated, I do not have enough statues, so I decided to start this episode with a new statue. This is Comrade Lenin, and he has been instrumental in the way that our industry works. And of course, we have our hammer and sickle. The power is in the hands of the people. And the people have decided that there is really not that much to do here. There is quite a lot that I need to upgrade. Thank you guys for the suggestions on the previous episode. I will try to implement as many as I can. Starting with the construction office. Recently I've been building everything manually, and this is becoming very expensive. So, in order to make that a bit less expensive, it's time to set up the remainder of what I need for the construction office. And the construction office is still going to require a warehouse/factory for mechanical components, electrical components, boards, prefab panels, bricks, steel. And this will mean that I can import quite a few things, store them, and use them when required. Let's see, first an open storage. Let's make that a few smaller ones. That's one open storage. And these, unfortunately, I cannot yet build with the construction office because there's simply no construction office operational yet. Oh, never mind. I thought you can only have one resource per factory or per storage, but unfortunately, I now built a few too many. Right, let's go for double on each. Now, I can assign that to my construction office, and now the only thing that I do not yet have is asphalt, mechanical components, and electrical components. So what I need to do is store asphalt somewhere, but that's, from what I have gathered, not something that you can actually do. So it's going to be a different option, or a different solution for that, which is to build my own little industry for that. This is going to be oil, asphalt plant. I will require gravel and bitumen, and of course those can be gathered from here. I'm not exactly sure why I don't have any bitumen. Maybe I'm exporting them. Now there has to be a pipeline, it has to be an outbound pipeline, and this has to be an inbound pipeline. And there is the asphalt plant. That is going to be the place where I get asphalt for the construction office. So I have quite a few, let's say, overflow storages that I currently won't be using. Building is not finished. No, work faster. We don't have time to build these things slowly. We need to get this thing done quick. So, once that is done, I can assign this, and then I'll only need mechanical components and electrical components in the form of a warehouse. Assign this here. We're going to get a little bit of gravel, and the bitumen is coming in. There are a few workers here, and I only need very, very few of them. Now, one thing that I haven't figured out yet is how to store asphalt. I don't know if you can. From what I have gathered so far, storing asphalt is just not possible. If you look at the storage in the warehouses, you got the oil/fuel storage. You got grain storage, cement silos, livestock, aggregates. That none of these can actually store my asphalt. So as it stands, I think I'm just going to have that stored here of sorts. It says we cannot store or export. Yes, I know. That's kind of the problem. Anyway, let's continue with setting up the construction office. And the last thing that I will need for this is a warehouse. I'm going to assign that here. And the warehouse is going to contain mechanical components and electrical components, and that's the last things that I need. At least, resource-wise. Because I'm also going to have to buy mechanisms, aka vehicles. We're going to need a few things. We're going to need a bus to get my people from and to work sites. We're going to need a covered haul vehicle. This is going to be transporting electrical components, mechanical components, pretty much whatever a particular construction site needs. Let's make that a covered trailer. I'm going to need a dumper truck carrying gravel, coal, whatever it needs. Preferably something with a bit of space on it. We already have an open haul vehicle, but not yet a logger, although I don't really need a logger. That's if you want to start I think, doing lumber industry, which is not something that I intend to do so just yet. We'll require a bulldozer, the Stalinek S100. We're going to need a road crane for some particular constructions. We'll need an excavator. We'll need a concrete mixer. We'll need a paver, and we'll need a roller. I do not believe that I'll need a tower crane, or, yeah, a tower crane just yet. Maybe just for the taller buildings. Alright, we can assign that here. We can tell that these guys are going to be allowed to buy a few electrical components and mechanical components. Approve. Right, my resources in the sense of funds are going down quick, but I'll just have to make do with what I have. If not, I can always apply for a loan. Now, this construction office is going to be able to build roads, buildings, footpaths, conveyors, pipelines, factory connections, and electrical wiring. Pretty much whatever I wanted to do, and preferably within a 2,000 meter direction. So now my construction office is complete. I will now be able to use this to build stuff instead of having to go through the actual channels of using either dollars or rubles. Now, I think that I'm going to need a lot more living space. We have 5 unemployed workers, that is all. So it's time to set up another neighborhood. And I'm probably going to be doing that here. Because then it's more or less shares the kindergarten facilities, it shares the fire station, it shares the pub to some extent. So let's see if I can get these things done. I'm first going to go with mud roads. And I can always upgrade those later. Now instead of using this, I'm going to go with not using dollars at all. Now you can see that these mud roads, I believe, don't really need to be constructed because they're mud roads. So that's the easy part. The buildings, the actual residential buildings for our glorious citizens, that's going to be something else. If I want to be building a prefab flat, I'm going to need a lot of work days. Concrete, gravel, asphalt, prefab panels, and 7.7 tons of steel. Going to require quite a few of these. Yes, I do automatically want to get citizens. And I will set up a kindergarten quite close to it, making sure that my people can drop off their kids at school / kindergarten, and that as such they will not be able to interrupt the availability of my workers. Now, let's see if the construction office is working. I believe it is. Yeah, the dumper truck is going to load gravel, and it's going to then offload that at the Leshy Flats. So this one is going to get built first, and then that one. We need a lot more workers at this construction site. This is going to take forever to build. And that's simply down to a complete lack of workforce. So while those things are coming up, I'm going to build another one, but I will be building this one just using rubles, because I need more workforce and I need it quickly. Unfortunately, that does not quite... Oh yeah, it does fit. Those workers can immediately join in on the building projects, and they can start working on the flats here and here. Now we have the resources. What we do not yet have is concrete, gravel, and asphalt. And those items should be getting dropped off fairly soon. This is our mixer vehicle. It's dropping off concrete. And this means that this building is, at some point, going to start construction. For the current phase, the groundworks, we need concrete, we need gravel, and asphalt. Now, I don't exactly know how it's going to work with the asphalt plant. Because, as I mentioned, I don't have more than 0.50 tons of asphalt. So how exactly the game is going to make that work beats me. Let's see, I'm going to need another dumper truck, I think. What was I using the previous one? The T138 dumper. That one. Missing resources, gravel and asphalt. Resources at the construction site, 9 tons of concrete. Hopefully, with those additional dumper trucks, it's going to go a bit faster, and the construction will commence very soon. Now, I have multiple constructions going up, but it's going to take me quite a lot of work to actually get all of those vehicles there. So let's go for one more dumper truck, because I think that those are currently the bottleneck, as they are not able to drag over the resources fast enough to bring up our new glorious construction. Let's see how the population's doing. We got 13 unemployed, 326 without education, 1146 with basic education, and 98 with university education. Excellent. Now we can already see our workers actually moving to the construction sites. That is great. Unfortunately, there's not that much to do with the utter lack of gravel and asphalt. But maybe this truck is going to make a difference. No, it's a refinery truck. This is an exporting truck. Now, one thing I need to adjust is the road to here. The customs house, that's this factory. I want to load only fuel. I do not want you to load bitumen anymore, because I need that for my own construction purposes. The only thing that we're missing now is asphalt. There we go. This vehicle is going to go over the asphalt plant and load 100% of asphalt. And then I think construction can commence. Construction here is still missing most of the resources. Concrete, asphalt, gravel. The workers are not the problem. It's everything else. Now let's speed things up a little and see what this truck is going to be doing. It's going to go over to the asphalt plant, but then what happens? Because it can only haul 0.5 out of there. So is it going to wait? Is it just going to sit there? Oh, it's getting 12 tons of asphalt. Excellent. Now, I do not believe you can store more, or you can have more than one building assigned to a construction office. But what I can, of course, do is have multiple construction offices, making sure that I get faster construction. That, however, will mean that I have to build the vehicles again, or buy the vehicles again. Still, I think it's not a bad idea to speed up construction. Yes, I'll build this one using rubbles. That's going to speed things along a little bit. This one, that one. We still need a concrete plant. That's the concrete plant. I'm going to assign this one here. The asphalt can be gotten from here. Workers can be gotten from the bus stop here. And finally, gravel from here, I think. The concrete plant can't produce concrete. Really? How is that? Oh, there's no storage. Right. That's another problem. You cannot store concrete. You can store cement, but you cannot store concrete. So it's just going to sit there until it's required. Now, let's assign some vehicles here. Let's go with a bus, a couple of the T-138 dumpers, a bulldozer, a road crane, an excavator, concrete mixer, paver, roller. What else do I need? Let's see, if I just assign this one to be building buildings, it might not need everything. I think I have everything assigned. And it looks like they're both assigned to the same structures now. So that's good. These guys are going to be splitting construction, and since they now have access to more vehicles, they should also be dumping more resources in there. Working for that in automatic mode, excellent. But there might not be enough workers here. Oh, and the bus stop is without power supply. I only just noticed that. this electric substation apparently is not enough to power everything. How much do you power? Are these things also without power? No. Missing truck with open hull. Okay. Concrete plant can't produce. I know, because there's simply no storage for it. That's kind of the problem. It does have a buffer, but it cannot do anything at the moment. Also because there's no workers. Now, let's check back in. The overall progress of the construction is proceeding. We're now going to need prefab panels, steel, here comes the steel, more work days, so it's just a matter of time. The kindergarten is also being worked on, it still needs gravel and asphalt, so slowly but steadily I am getting less reliant on both dollars and rubbles, because now I don't have to manually buy everything anymore. And it's just going to be waiting for my resources to get delivered, and then we can just continue on building. Now let's continue that on fast speed. Something else that was mentioned, build a shopping center. I do not yet have a shopping center, but I'm not sure if I want to build a shopping center, apart from the fact that it's a capitalistic invention that is really not required. It is an expensive construction. Especially if I want to manually build it. It's going to take me 3,117 work days. So that is a lot of time. It will allow my people to buy food, clothing, electronics, and meat. These things only allow for clothing and electronics. A small shopping center might be a better option. Maximum number of workers 25 versus 45, so it'll also serve fewer people. Alternatively, I just set this up in the middle of the neighborhood and allow my workers from every which way to start and get their required resources. Provided, of course, that people from here are willing to walk all the way over to that shopping mall. Now, we can actually see the construction being built. We got the road cranes over here. And the road cranes are working on what the current phase. Construction overall. So we're getting somewhere. But we require more steel. Now the steel, of course, has to be bought, because that's not something I can currently produce. And I would love to be able to produce it, and to some extent I can. But it's going to require more workers, and that's something that I do not yet have. Or at least not enough of. So unfortunately, it's not going to be possible to get this thing built immediately. This steel mill and preceding factories. Because it's just going to require a lot of workers. And we are in a Russian catch-22 problem. What I do really like about this game is how you can actually see the units building the various parts. And as opposed to, for example, City Skylines, in this game, the game actually allows you to set up every industry that you need. It allows you to build a steel plant and the preceding required infrastructure. And with that, you become less and less and less reliant on other outside sources of resources. So that is very, very handy. 81 citizens unable to visit church. Let's see, are there any unable to work? One worker unable to work because there's no kindergarten. 4, no kindergarten. 8, no kindergarten. So I should require another kindergarten, because this one apparently is pretty much full. That's really the only kindergarten that I have at the moment. So I will probably have to set up another one to make sure all these workers can get to work. Growing process still working. This one is a tractor and it's sowing anew. Lots and lots and lots of crops for export. And there's also quite a lot of food stored here. Actually too much. We cannot store or export food. Yes. Could I store that here? I can store crops here and I can store food here. Excellent. Alright. An open hull vehicle is probably what I need. This, no, covered. Covered hull. This can store 2 tons of food, 2,500, or yeah, here we go, 4.5 tons of food. Alright. Comrade, new task. Pick up from food factory, drop off at... Hold on a minute. Where was my grocery store? Because I'm not sure if I'm delivering it there. Grocery store. No, small store. That's power substation. Here, grocery store. Food is being delivered by the food factory already. Excellent. Alright, in that case we're going to proceed with our plan. And we're going to drop off the food over there as a sort of overcapacity. Now we are not importing food, I believe. No, we are. I don't want that. I'm just not sure if there's going to be any kind of room to build a conveyor belt. Or if that's even possible. I don't think so. So I'm going to have to build another vehicle here. And that's going to be, well, not a dumper probably. Open hull? No. Covered hull. It just has to pick up crops and drop those off at the food factory. That's all that I needed to do. Simply because conveyors are not possible. Commence. So crops are now going to get delivered over here, and that's going to save me a bit of importing. Food's going to get exported, and as such transported to my warehouse and or grocery store. We shall require 6 tons of steel. Missing truck with an open hull, really? How much steel do we have stored? Enough. We can also store 800 tons of crops here. Do those work with conveyors? No, they do not. And yes, the comment was made, this thing is set up in the wrong spot. I should have built this somewhere here, somewhere closer. Because right now it's just not possible of doing anything useful. And this one is just going to go back and forth. Picking up the crops, dropping them off here. I am going to add an additional stop. Because I also wanted to go here. If it cannot unload the full load at the factory, which I think is going to happen pretty soon. Right now it has nothing aboard. Loading. Price 123. Crops really don't get you any kind of resource. Alright, the factory is using some, so now it can actually not drop off anything at the silo. The building is without power supply. Is everything without power supply? No workers. Right. I want my people to work here. Priority. And ideally there as well. Oh. Not this concrete plant. I need them at the power plant. So we should have power everywhere, right? Yeah. Alright, construction almost complete on prefab 11 Leshy Flats. Construction has stopped. We are missing prefab panels, and that is yet to be delivered. The other one is progressing pretty similar, and the kindergarten is actually operational already. So construction here is completed, and that should allow some of our comrades to actually work, because there is now a kindergarten to store their offspring. I mean, to educate their offspring. It seems that my economy is actually not that bad. I'm still gaining some dollars, and I'm still not doing very well on my ruble situation. Although it's not terrible. Vehicles imported. Yeah, I bought a few new vehicles. But it's actually not terrible. I have seen far, far worse in some of my other cities, if you will. Right, what else can I do? I can build a radio station. This was recommended to make sure that my people are receiving the proper information. And that is going to be an expensive investment, as people have said. This is going to cost me 11,913 workdays. If I wanted to build one or buy one, it's 381,000 rubles. That is nuts. I'm not going to build that. How many people are having to work there? Maximum of 100. Right. 850 tons of concrete. No, thank you. A bit much. Still no crops at silo. And there are fewer and fewer and fewer crops over here. Growing process almost complete. So soon we're gonna have to start harvesting, and I only have exactly one harvester available. Let's get another harvester. Now, what I don't quite like is that you have to wait a long time for these things to actually get built. That is something that could be sped up as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I have all the vehicles here that I can. What's going to help with getting more steel delivered? That's 1.5 tons of steel, 5 tons, 8 tons, 9 tons, 3.5 tons, 4 tons, 9 tons. Let's just send another 2 zills in. With this construction office, I'll then... Sorry, this construction office here... No. This one, I'll be able to quickly deliver all the steel that I need. This one is going to pick up 53% of the prefab panels that are required. And once we have those dropped off, we can proceed to the next phase. There we go. Our first handmade building. No purchases, no problems, just new workers. And now we can proceed at speed with that second flats building. And this one should now get a lot more attention from all the different construction offices and all the workers. And very soon we're going to have another building operational. And there it is. So now I have 69 workers, 70 workers available. I wonder if all of these can actually work or walk over to the bus stop. They can. I might need another bus stop here soon. Because I'm not sure if all the workers are going to be getting dropped off where they exactly need to. At least my workforce has expanded. That is important. Now, let's continue on with this road. I want to build more habitation. More flats. Let's set these things up. And then build another bus platform. These can house a total of 500 passengers as and when required. I'm going to build that as more or less the core of this neighborhood. This is going to take a lot more time to build these 3 buildings together. Now the additional workforce, 129 unemployed workers. I might have to up the amount of buses here a bit. No, I got 5 buses heading here, this is fine. Here comes our dumper truck again. And it is already dropping off the concrete that is required. And same here. I really think that this construction phase, that this manual construction is a really, really nice addition. Very, very few other games have this, as far as I know. So I think this is an excellent way of slowly building up your own country. Or your own... Well, I suppose it is a country at this point. Here come the dumper trucks again. Dropping off the stuff that they need, and that's concrete and gravel. Workers required. Workdays are going down, so we are actually getting this thing built. Slowly, but steadily. And when the dumper trucks are available, they immediately pick another project, so I don't have to micromanage them either. Last things we need: asphalt, gravel, and concrete. And we can commence with our construction. 122 workers still unemployed. I really want more people to be working over here. Add buildings. I want people to work there, just not half and half. What's that again? Oh, the kindergarten. Okay, there's no crops anymore. There's a lot of food, but these fields are going to have to start producing soon. Otherwise there won't be enough crops in the agro farm. Alright, comrades. Thank you for your attention in this education about how to build buildings with your own bare hands and construction regimes. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I thank you for your attention, and I shall see you next week for the next installment of Workers and the Resources. See you then.